And now we shift focus to reports that women who suffer violence have been known to experience post-traumatic stress disorder, that's popularly known as PTSD. Experts identify some of the symptoms to include a sense of imbalance, disconnect and/or numbness. Daily, it actually seems cases of domestic violence sadly occur. As the world marks the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, we're now being joined by our correspondent, Chinda, who has followed a trend of rising cases of violence against women in Nigeria. Good to have you join us, Mary.
Good to be here, David.
Now, we're having this day in commemoration of trying to bring an end to the elimination of violence against women. But for the woman out there, the average girl on the streets in Nigeria, let's break it down. What are the different forms of violence that we have to look out for? And then just put a tag to it so that we know when we are being abused from the perspective of a woman.
Well, violence against women and girls is a major human rights violation. It could be sexual violence, it could be physical violence. Of course, we're very acquainted with that, where somebody hits you. You know, it could be emotional violence, which is really very traumatic many a time. It could be mental violence, just putting a woman in a position where mentally she feels less of herself, where mentally you get to batter her. So it's all of these things. It also includes girl-child trafficking, and of course in some places where there's feminicide, where just because you're a female you get to be killed, for just belonging to the female gender. It's all of those things. And
even such violations like the female genital mutilation, which has been abolished. But, it's quite interesting to find out that our culture, some way, somehow, shrouds all of these abuses. Some people still think that there's no need to speak up. It's a thing of shame. What's your word to women out there?
Well, I'll quickly point you to the major, what I think is a major sort of violence to women, which is actually sexual violence, which is actually rape. We're very well aware of the Ochanya case, the Elizabeth Ochanya case. It actually brought a lot that has been swept under the carpet, up. So it's if you're being violated in any way as a woman, the best thing is to speak up. It's not about culture. It's not about the people that are all around you.
It's not about shame.
You're the one who's going through it. There's a lot of trauma involved. There's a lot of you thinking less of yourself because you're persistently being traumatized or being violated as a woman. So it's about speaking up. It's not about culture. It's not about your father, your mother, what will people say. It's not about your husband. It's you. It's you. As a woman, you have a right to live your best life. So anything at all, anything and anybody that tries to put you in harm's way, I think you should speak up.
And definitely in speaking up too, we also have to look at areas where we have punitive measures to serve as deterrents. We also look at prosecution, but abroad, you have staggering figures, and you can put a benchmark to say XYZ number have been prosecuted in so and so years. But in Nigeria, we really don't have enough of statistics when it even comes to reporting cases, talk less of even now having those prosecution cases.
Well, obviously and sadly, the Nigerian government is not doing enough. I have followed the issue of sexual violence against women for the last few months, and a lot of experts in this area think that the best thing for the government to do to men who violate women is to, issue a death penalty. But the government the government of Nigeria does not seem to be looking in that direction at all. But I think that the government is not doing well enough. The police and all of the security agencies in this country, they are not doing well enough. I had a rape victim who had shared with me that after she was being gang raped by about 3 men, she got the police to, carry out investigations. And at the age of 17, when she was being raped, the police were actually blaming her for being raped. That's a woman who's trying to speak up. That's a girl who's trying to speak up, and she's being blamed for being raped, for being gang raped. So it's a lot of mess. I think the government needs to do more in terms of legislation, in terms of execution, in terms of punitive measures against persons who violate women.
And now, to wrap up the conversation, we have to look at bringing an end to the scourge. Sensitization, it's not enough the men folk, women folk, everybody has to be educated. Everybody has to be sensitized. So don't you think on a day like this and every other day we must continuously push the message that no form of violence is acceptable?
Well, David, I think I'll leave you with this figures, research made by the African Development Agency in 2016. It said that 3 out of 10 men, feel that it is their right to hit women. And 4 out of 10 girls and women between the ages of 15 to 49 think that it's okay for a man to hit them. So not just on a day like this, every other day, women and men need to be aware that it is wrong to hit a woman. It is wrong for a woman to accept being hit. It is not in any way good. It has a lot of mental hazards to the woman, and it should not be encouraged at all.
And talking about women, the girl folks are also definitely a part of that.
Yes, and I think that there's a lot of sensitization that is being done, especially because of the sad news of losing Elizabeth Ochanya at the age of 13.
Exactly. Schools would also have to push the message.
They are doing a lot. They are doing a lot. In Lagos State, I know that they are doing a lot, because this year alone, between January and September, the Lagos State government, gave out staggering figures about 3,089 cases of rape and domestic violence. That's alarming. That's a lot of homes being shattered there. So a lot is being done about it in terms of sensitization already.
Thank you very much, Mary.
Thank you, David.